I distanced myself from the church, but I didn't distance myself from God. And that sounds really interesting to people, but I never felt convicted. Like, I didn't feel like I was living in sin, but from what I was taught and where we went to church it was actually a United Methodist church. At that point, I decided to distance myself from the church, just because it was like, hey, we welcome you, but stay right here. Like, to this point, you're welcome, because we don't affirm like who you are or where you're going in life.
So in both my professional and my personal life, I've been working with a lot of parents whose children had come out to them, and they were feeling kind of lost and uncertain of what to do next. So I've been walking alongside parents, offering support, education, connection, and it became very evident to me that these parents felt very isolated, very lonely, as if they were the only parents parenting LGBTQ+ kids in our community. So my great idea, which really is a very, very simple idea, was let's just get these parents together so they can support each other, learn from each other, and be in community while still maintaining some confidentiality for the families that feel that that's important. And so I started a group for parents of LGBTQ+ children. For our program, really the initial investment was just the investment of time, someone to coordinate, organize, facilitate these initial meetings. And then what we've worked our way into is various parents in the group will now invest their time in leading a session. So that's worked out very well and has been sort of a shared investment in time. The other really big piece is we needed a space to meet for a large group, and a large group that's growing rapidly. And Grace Avenue has been very gracious in giving us that space to meet once a month. And really, I think that speaks to a bit about what we're talking about in this campaign, which is we're utilizing these buildings that we have for community outreach, getting out beyond the walls of our church and reaching members in the Frisco community, but even beyond. We have parents driving in from outside of Frisco. So I think it's a wonderful way to connect our church to the greater community, which I think is what we all want to do.
I actually found Grace Avenue under very difficult circumstances, but it happened to me, we were actually looking for a church home, and it was during Pride Month, and I'm not kidding you, we had been looking for a while, because we had just been looking, because we are very adamant about not just going to an accepting church, but an affirming church, because they're very different in our world. And there was a rainbow flag on the marquee right when I drove up, and I mean, tears came into my eyes, and I called Ramey immediately, and I'm like, we have to come back on Sunday just to see what it's about.
I think having welcoming, open, and affirming spaces for people in the LGBTQ+ community or their family members and friends is crucial. I think there's a lot of places and spaces that don't feel welcoming and affirming, and I think sometimes can feel like they're not safe. So as a church community, I think it's really important that we're explicit about that we are open, welcoming, affirming, and in the case of this parent group, not to people of Grace Avenue, but to the greater community. We're extending this to all. That idea of all means all.